Welcome back to episode 3. By now, you should have some basic tools, food, water, a stash of resources, and hopefully fewer traumatic crocodile encounters. Now it's time to stop living like a confused river goblin and build your first actual base. And no, I don't mean a gigantic castle with 47 towers and a throne room when you're level 8. I mean a functional starter base that helps you progress instead of draining every resource you own. Beginner bases usually fail for one of 3 reasons. It's in a terrible location, it's way too big, or it's completely impossible to organize. Today, we're going to fix that. Your first real base has one job: efficiency. That's it. It is not your forever base, and it's not your endgame fortress. It's definitely not worth spending 9 hours decorating yet. A good early base should keep you safe, store your resources, hold your crafting stations, give you room to expand, and keep you near important materials. That's the only goal. For brand new players, you'll want to stay near the Southern River. Seriously. This river gives you water, food, trees, stone, fiber, easy enemies, and beginner NPC camps. Everything you need is here on the river. You'll want to avoid building deep in the desert or too far north or near any aggressive enemy camps. You also don't want to build directly near any world bosses. If a giant monster patrols outside your door, that is not good security. That's called a problem. So what do you want to look for in a base location? Well, you want to look for flat ground first. Building is much easier on a flatter terrain for early game. Trying to force foundations onto uneven cliffs at level 10 usually turns into architectural sadness. You also want easy access to stone, wood, water, animals, and fiber. The less time you spend running across the map, the faster you can progress. Even a small base grows quickly in Conan. You'll want to make sure you leave room for furnaces, crafting stations, and more storage. New players always underestimate how much room crafting stations can take, especially once the game starts handing you industrial-size furniture. Start with your foundations. These foundations create stable building surfaces. For your starter base, just start with something simple. I'm starting with a square here, for instance. Don't build a castle before you even own iron tools. Conan uses a stability system for building. The farther that pieces extend from their support, the weaker that stability becomes. Eventually, pieces will no longer be allowed to be placed. This matters a lot for larger builds, but early on, just remember that your foundations are your strongest support. If building pieces suddenly turn red, the game is basically saying absolutely not. Your first building material is going to be sandstone, and honestly, it's perfectly fine for early on builds. A lot of new players rush to build higher tiers way too early. You don't need to worry about those advanced materials yet. Right now, sandstone is cheap, fast, and functional, and that's all you need. Now we start turning your shack into an actual survival base. You'll want to prioritize the following crafting stations. A campfire. This is going to be your main hub for food production, and it is mandatory. You'll want a carpenter's bench. This is going to help with more efficient wood crafting later in game. You'll also need a furnace. You'll need this especially when you start smelting iron, which is coming soon. Very soon. And iron changes everything. You'll want to start with organizing your storage early on. Future you will appreciate this. At minimum, you'll want a chest for stone and wood, a chest for fiber and crafting materials, and one for food and consumables. Because once your inventory becomes a muddled mess, you've lost all control. Small bases have huge advantages in early game. They tend to cost less resources and they can be built a lot faster. They're also easier to organize and expand. Most beginner mega bases become unfinished resource sinkholes. Build smart first and build huge later. Your bedroll is temporary. Later you'll unlock actual beds with permanent spawn points, but for now, keep your bedroll placed inside your base. Nothing says bad day quite like respawning naked outside while a hyena walks through your front door. You will eventually want to craft torches or some kind of wall lighting early on. The night gets very dark in Conan, and fighting in darkness is a fantastic way to accidentally discover how many crocodiles live near your house. Some common base building mistakes that people make are building too big, where you run out of resources too quickly, building too far north and now you're freezing and getting attacked by wolves every 30 seconds, building on top of resource nodes, because you'll accidentally stop resources from spawning nearby. Also, having no storage plan. Now every chest contains random nonsense and emotional damage. By the end of this episode, your base should have foundations, walls, a roof, storage, crafting stations, food production, and room to expand. Nothing too fancy, just functional. And honestly, functional bases survive longer than flashy ones most of the time. Now that you have stable resources, storage, shelter, and crafting space, it's finally time to learn combat properly. Because sooner or later, Conan stops asking politely. In the next episode, we're going to cover stamina in combat, dodging, blocking, different weapon types, and how to stop dying to enemies you absolutely should have beaten. Because right now, most of your combat strategy is probably panic and swing wildly. And surprisingly, I think the game has detected that. Thanks for watching, Exiles. Until next time, keep crafting, keep surviving, and I'll see you in the Exiled Lands.